You set the goal, you make the plan, you feel genuinely motivated, and then somehow you end up being the very reason it falls apart, even after promising yourself this time would be different. What if the problem isn't your willpower or your discipline, but a hidden part of your brain actively working against you? In this video, I'll share 6 psychology-backed truths, confirmed by behavioral researchers, that will expose exactly why you self-sabotage and precisely how to stop it for good. Research from the American Psychological Association found that self-sabotage is one of the most universal human behaviors, affecting high achievers just as much as everyone else. It's not a personal weakness, it's a predictable psychological pattern, with identifiable causes and proven solutions. The problem is, most people think self-sabotage is about laziness or lack of motivation, so they push harder, set stricter rules, and white-knuckle their way forward, which only triggers the sabotage more intensely. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what's driving your self-sabotage, and you'll have a clear system to dismantle it. Let's dive in. Now, here's where it gets interesting and deeply counterintuitive. Because this first truth is one most people flatly refuse to believe about themselves. Most people assume they fear failure, but behavioral psychology reveals something far more unsettling. Many people fear success even more, not consciously, deep down in the part of your brain that runs on old programming. Success means new expectations, new responsibilities, new judgments from people around you, and to your subconscious mind, all of that feels far more dangerous than just staying where you are. Research from clinical psychologist Dr. Leon Seltzer found that fear of success operates as a protective mechanism. The brain predicts that achieving the goal will create social complications, pressure, or loss of identity, and so it quietly arranges for the goal to fail before those consequences arrive. It's your brain trying to protect you from a future it has decided is threatening, without asking your permission. Here's how to confront it. First, when you notice yourself stalling on a goal, ask honestly, what bad thing do I believe will happen if I actually succeed at this? Write the answer without judgment. Second, examine each fear you uncover and ask, is this a realistic consequence, or is this a story I inherited from someone else? Third, rewrite the narrative. Describe your success in a version where the consequences are manageable and the outcomes are genuinely positive. Your brain avoids what it predicts will hurt. Give it a safer prediction. Instead of pushing through fear blindly, name the hidden fear first. You can't fight an enemy you haven't identified. Now, let's talk about something even more powerful. The unconscious identity trap that keeps people stuck in a loop. This next one is crucial, and once you understand it, you'll see it operating everywhere in your own life. The identity ceiling is the invisible upper limit your behavior automatically enforces based on who you believe you are at your core. Not who you want to be, who you believe you actually are. If your deepest self-image is someone who struggles, who isn't quite good enough, who always eventually messes things up, your actions will hit that ceiling every single time and quietly collapse back down to match the identity. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, a pioneer in psychocybernetics, discovered that human behavior is essentially a self-image thermostat, constantly pulling your results back toward whatever temperature you've set internally. His decades of clinical work showed that until the self-image itself changes, external results will always revert. Willpower cannot override a self-image long-term. The thermostat always wins. First, identify the core belief driving the ceiling. Write down, deep down, I believe I am someone who, and complete it honestly. Second, find 3 specific pieces of real evidence that contradict that belief, past moments where you succeeded, persisted, or proved the belief wrong. Third, build a new identity statement and repeat it daily. I am someone who finishes what I start, or I am someone who handles hard things. Repetition rewires the thermostat setting. Instead of trying to behave your way to a new identity, build the identity first. The behavior will follow naturally. But wait, there's more to this. Because there's a specific emotional trigger that launches self-sabotage the moment things start going well. Most people don't know this, but there's a fascinating phenomenon that fires every time you get too close to something good. Psychologist Gay Hendricks calls it the upper limit problem, the deeply ingrained tendency to unconsciously create problems, conflicts, or setbacks the moment life starts feeling too good, too successful, or too peaceful. It shows up as picking a fight right after a breakthrough, getting sick right before a big opportunity, or procrastinating right when momentum is building. It feels random, but it's not. This works because your nervous system has a set range for how much positive emotion it considers safe. When good feelings exceed that range, your brain interprets the intensity as a threat and unconsciously engineers a way to bring things back to familiar ground. Think of it like an emotional pressure valve. When the joy or momentum builds past a certain point, the valve opens and releases it. Here's how to work with it. First, learn to recognize the pattern. Start noticing whether your setbacks consistently appear right after positive progress. That timing is the fingerprint of the upper limit. Second, when you catch yourself upper limiting, name it out loud. I am upper limiting right now. That conscious recognition interrupts the automatic behavior. Third, deliberately practice tolerating positive momentum. Sit with the feeling of things going well without immediately deflecting it, minimizing it, or sabotaging it. Instead of wondering why good things keep falling apart, start asking whether you're unconsciously dismantling them. The answer is almost always yes. This brings me to the next truth, and this one is going to challenge how you see procrastination entirely. There's a scientific reason this one changes everything, and it's fascinating. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotion regulation problem. When you avoid a task, you are not avoiding the work itself. You are avoiding the negative emotions the task triggers: fear of judgment, fear of imperfection, fear of realizing you're not as capable as you hope. Avoidance provides instant emotional relief, and your brain, which always optimizes for the short term, learns to choose the relief every time. Research from Dr. Fushia Sirois at the University of Sheffield found that chronic procrastinators show significantly higher emotional avoidance patterns, not lower motivation levels. The task itself isn't the problem. The feelings the task activates are the problem. This is why working harder and setting more deadlines almost never cures procrastination. Nay, you're treating the symptom, not the source. Here's how to address the actual cause. First, the next time you procrastinate, stop and identify the specific emotion you're avoiding. Write it down precisely. Second, use a technique called emotion labeling before action. Say out loud, "Starting this feels uncomfortable because I'm afraid of," then start anyway for just 5 minutes. Third, remove the perfectionism standard by reframing the task. Instead of "do this well," tell yourself "do this badly," on purpose just to start. Bad output is infinitely better than zero output. Instead of trying to feel motivated before starting, start first and let the motivation arrive after. Action precedes motivation, every single time. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about when I genuinely want to change and still keep ending up back at square one? You've already watched this far, so let me share the one that rewired how I think about change completely. Most people imagine the comfort zone as a location, a place you step out of to grow. But neuroscience shows it's actually a neurochemical baseline. Your brain maintains a specific ratio of stress hormones and feel-good chemicals that feels normal. When you pursue change, the brain chemistry shifts, and your brain experiences that shift as threat, not progress. The discomfort you feel when changing isn't weakness. It's your brain's chemistry trying to restore its familiar balance. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman at Stanford has documented extensively that the brain's dopamine system is designed to reward return to baseline, meaning your brain literally rewards you for giving up on change and returning to familiar patterns. You feel relief when you quit. That relief is chemical. It's real, and it's designed to keep you exactly where you are. Here's how to override it. First, understand that the D is comfort of change is a neurological process, not a signal that you're doing something wrong. Name it. This is just my chemistry recalibrating. Second, extend your tolerance for change discomfort by 1% each day. Tiny incremental extensions that shift the baseline without triggering the full alarm response. Third, create new chemical rewards for the new behavior. Celebrate small wins loudly and immediately to train your dopamine system toward the new pattern. Instead of fighting your brain chemistry, work with it. Small, consistent signals rewire the baseline more effectively than massive dramatic efforts. But that's not all, because there's one final truth that ties everything together and explains why most change attempts ultimately fail. Here's the most important truth of all, and the one that changes your entire relationship with your own behavior. Every self-sabotaging behavior you have made sense at some point in your life. It was a solution your younger self invented to handle a difficult situation. Rejection, criticism, uncertainty, failure. The protection worked then. The problem is, your brain never got the memo that the situation changed. It kept running the old protection software long after the original threat disappeared. Self-sabotage isn't self-destruction. It's outdated self-protection that no longer fits. Research from developmental psychologist Dr. Kristen Neff at the University of Texas found that self-compassion, understanding your behavior without judgment, is one of the most powerful predictors of genuine behavioral change. Not self-criticism, not harsh discipline, compassionate understanding of why the behavior exists in the first place. When you understand the protection, you can update it instead of fighting it. Here's how to update the software. First, for each self-sabotaging pattern you notice, ask, what was this behavior originally protecting me from? Write the answer. Second, thank the behavior genuinely for doing its job when you needed it. This is not weakness. This is how you disarm resistance. This is how you disarm resistance. Third, offer your brain a new, updated protection strategy that achieves the same safety goal without the self-sabotage. For instance, if the sabotage protected you from judgment, the update might be, I can handle judgment now. I am not the child who couldn't. Instead of fighting yourself, try understanding yourself first. Compassion is not weakness. It is the most efficient path to permanent change. Let's quickly review what we covered today. Number 1, the fear of success paradox. Your brain fears what success demands, not just what failure costs. Number 2, the identity ceiling. Your self-image acts as a thermostat pulling results back to its set point. Number 3, the upper limit problem. You unconsciously create problems when life gets too good. Number 4, procrastination is emotion avoidance. You're not avoiding the task, you're avoiding the feeling. Number 5, the comfort zone is chemical. Your brain rewards return to baseline, so work with the chemistry. Number 6, self-sabotage is outdated protection. Understand the origin before trying to eliminate the behavior. Remember, self-sabotage is not your enemy. It's a misguided protector that needs updating, not destroying. You've always been capable of more. The only difference between where you are and where you want to be is the willingness to understand your own patterns with honesty and compassion, and then choose differently. Don't wait until another goal collapses before you investigate why. Start by picking just one of these 6 truths, the one that stung most, and sit with it honestly today. I promise you, 30 days of this kind of honest self-examination will change more than years of forced willpower ever could. If this video cracks something open for you, hit that like button. It helps more people find this. Subscribe for more psychology-backed self-improvement every week. Drop a comment below telling me, which of these 6 patterns do you recognize most in yourself? I read every single one, and if you want to go deeper, watch this video next on how to finally build habits that actually stick. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.